Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday I shared my thoughts on the realities of socialism in Denmark, and today I'm diving into another video that examines the realities of socialism in Poland. I'm interested to see how Poland's story differs from Denmark and see what insights we can gain from their experiences with socialism and economic transition. So if you know you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share with your friends, turn on your notification bell so you continue seeing more updates from me. So without further ado, let's check out this video.
Hello and welcome. I'm Mary O'Grady, America's columnist with the Wall Street Journal. In this video, we explore the experience of Poland both before and after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Our goal is to better understand how socialism and later the transition to market democracy affected the everyday lives of the Polish people. Only about half of the people alive today in Western countries like Canada, the US, Australia, and the United Kingdom are old enough to remember the fall of the Berlin Wall. Many of them have no idea what real traditional socialism was like. This at least partially explains why 45 to 53% of young people ages 18 to 24 in Canada, Australia, the US, and the UK believe socialism is the ideal economic system.
Like all Soviet bloc countries, Poland replaced markets with socialism. What that meant, practically speaking, is that Polish entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and even laborers no longer made economic decisions. They weren't allowed to decide what goods and services to produce or how to produce them. Instead, bureaucrats and members of the Communist Party made decisions about what should be produced. The result of replacing markets, in which entrepreneurs and business owners try to satisfy consumers, with bureaucrats and politicians making economic decisions, was that the Polish economy became very inefficient. It failed to produce goods and services Polish consumers actually wanted and wasted enormous resources.
So what did this mean for average Poles on a day-to-day basis? After all, one of the rationales for socialism is that average people are better off.
The typical Pole was significantly worse off under socialism, compared with other Europeans at the time. Shortages were the norm. Stores typically had no soap, no coffee, no sugar, no laundry detergent, no cigarettes, and above all, no meat. In the 1980s, the average Pole was...
I'm struck by the sheer scale of shortages in Poland under socialism. No coffee, no soap, no sugar. It's hard to imagine living in a society where these basic goods are scarce. Oh my God, that must have been terrible.
still waiting between 15 to 30 years for a home. Only 7% of Poles had telephones and just 11% had a car. Even if these goods were available, most Poles would have had a hard time affording them because their incomes were so low.
Another way of thinking about well-being is to look at life expectancy. How does Poland's experience stack up with other European countries?
While the rest of the developed world experienced increases in life expectancy in the 1970s and 80s, Poland's life expectancy stalled. By the end of the 1980s, Poles on average died 5 years earlier than people in other industrialized countries. Socialism was supposed to improve prosperity, whether measured by income, access to goods and services, or life expectancy. Clearly it didn't.
One of the arguments for socialism is that it creates a more equitable society. Is that Poland's experience? Was inequality reduced in Poland under socialism?
The elite members of the Communist Party lived very different lives than average Poles. They shopped at special stores, they carried goods not available to average Poles.
Talk about Nigeria. Oh my God. I'm so surprised that Poland had similar experience with what we are experiencing in Nigeria today. Oh my God, this is so sad. What?
They had access to luxury summer resorts. They were provided exclusive health care, enjoyed special retirement accounts. They were permitted to travel more freely outside of Poland, and they were exempt from paying taxes.
The end of the Soviet bloc in the late 1980s and early 1990s unleashed a wave of reforms across Eastern Europe, including Poland. What did Poland do specifically in response to the failure of socialism?
Poland was in worse shape than most other socialist countries, and the reformers there moved relatively quickly. They eliminated government-imposed controls on prices and wages so that markets rather than bureaucrats determined prices. Decades of endemic shortages ended in a matter of weeks. They lowered barriers to foreign trade. They removed restrictions on private business to allow more competition. They privatized many state-owned firms. They required the central bank of Poland to focus on controlling inflation, and the government balanced its budget. And they made the tax system simpler and fair. These reforms were not easy. Many inefficient factories and businesses were closed. A lot of Polish workers lost their jobs during the transition. Unemployment spiked in the early 1990s and again in the early 2000s as Poland transitioned to a market economy.
So Poles paid a heavy price both during socialism and during the transition away from it. How were their lives changed after returning to democracy and markets?
After the initial reforms in the 1990s, the average Pole's standard of living started to improve, though, and the gap with the rest of the industrialized world narrowed. Incredibly, incomes rose at more than twice the rate of growth that had prevailed in the socialist era. These higher incomes bought Poles a better standard of living. Life expectancy for the average Polish person started to increase and catch up with industrialized countries. Poles also gained economic freedom. This means that individuals, not government officials, were able to make their own economic decisions about what to buy and sell and when, how, and under what terms to work. The Economic Freedom of the World Project measures economic freedom across a range of activities, including the right to hold property, the ability to trade, the soundness of money, the size of government in terms of both spending and taxing. As you can see, Poland markedly improved on these measures during the early 1990s.
Poland's difficult experience with the transition to a market democracy illustrates the deep-seated, damaging effects of socialism on society. It's undeniable that the Polish standard of living is far higher today than it was in the days of totalitarian socialism. The Polish people are infinitely better off and their daily lives more prosperous because of the transition.
Wow. It's amazing to see how Poland's standard of living improved since the transition to market economy. The increase in income and life expectancy is just a testament to the power of economic freedom. Oh my God, watching this video just made me kind of emotional. As I watch this video, I'm reminded of the challenges Nigeria has also faced in its economic development. Just like Poland, Nigeria has also suffered inefficiencies and corruption. But unlike Poland, Nigeria has not yet made a significant transition to a market-based economy. But watching Poland's story has given me a renewed hope for Nigeria's potential. And I believe that with the right policies and leadership, we can also make a successful transition to a market-based economy and also improve the lives of our citizens. The fact that the life expectancy in Poland actually stalled during the 1970s and 80s is a devastating indictment of the socialist economy. It's clear that the pursuit of equality and prosperity is not always achieved through socialist means. Wow, this video, the story of Poland is actually different from that of Denmark. I think the Danes had it better, right? Wow. I kind of relate with Poland, the struggles Poland went through, because it's almost the same thing we've experienced in Nigeria. We've been experiencing in Nigeria and we are still experiencing it. I just hope that someday Nigeria would also transition to a market-based economy and the standard of living of the citizens of Nigeria will also improve, just like Poland. Wow. Comparing this video with that of Denmark, I would say the Poles had it way tougher than Danes. I mean, Denmark, they just suffered for a bit after they tried a larger government, but then they retraced their steps back to what they were used to, and then it's been all good. Wow. But I'm just so glad for Poland that despite the challenges they faced during the socialist economy and during the transition, at least they are benefiting from the sacrifices they made. People who lost their jobs during the transition and all of that. At least the long run benefit is much more than the sacrifices, right? Wow, this was so interesting and so insightful. I hope you got something from this video. If you did, like the video, share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you continue seeing more updates from me. And in our next video on the realities of socialism, I think we'll be checking out another country. I'll leave you to guess. It could be Sweden, it could be any other country. Just keep it locked, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.